Welcome to another episode of Maritime Health and Performance Chat. If you have any experience going to see an osteopath, or if you happen to need one, this might just be the episode for you.
So today we have Bret LeBlanc. Bret is a manual osteopath, and he works out in Elmsdale. So
and Bedford.
And in Bedford. So Bret can tell you a lot more about himself and a better manner than I can. So Bret, I'll give you the floor.
Okay, so I'm a manual osteopath. I work at two clinics, Elmsdale Strides and Kinesis in Bedford. My background, personal training. So I come from a very movement-based modality. So prior to this, like I said, I've been working with clients for past 8 years in the personal training field. You got to wear many hats. You're looking at the therapy side of things. Often I would take a lot of clients that would be injured. So this is kind of the natural progression after this. It was a field that I was very interested in, the rehab side of things. Also focusing on nutrition. I have multiple nutrition certifications. And of course, the mechanical side of things. That comes with fitness, program design, all that stuff. So one of the things that really, like I said, that sets me apart is right now, I'm currently the only registered Neurokinetic therapy level 3 in the province. So what that entails is we address motor control. And in my opinion, motor control is the reason why they come see me, because, either they aren't moving or they're not moving well.
Funny you mentioned that, because I know a lot of people, especially getting to be in shadow some strength conditioning professionals working with athletes, even at the university level, you see a lot of issues just coming from not activating the glutes or the core, right? You see a lot of their lifts and whatnot. They come out of form because they're not activating certain muscles at the right time or at all. And then that's where those injuries happen. And I guess they get to go see you.
Yeah. And it's surprising how much, I guess we live in that sitting population. We're sitting at work, 8 hours a day. It's not uncommon to see people. I mean, there are some people that are standing all the time, and then they'll develop certain dysfunctions too as well. But I mean, I deal with a lot of sitting population now. I'm probably gone away from seeing some athletes, but I do see athletes from time to time. And again, different types of problems that you'll see. But definitely weak core. Weak core is the number one thing I see, and that leads to a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's the center, it's the base. It's called the core because it's the center, the basis of everything, the foundation. I'd love to talk a bit more about your neurokinetic therapy work, especially where you're the only registered level 3 in the province. Like, maybe elaborate a bit more on what kind of treatments or what kind of populations you see with that.
It does work really well with athletes, I will admit, and the great thing about athletes is the high compliance. But I mean, definitely in the general public, there's so many people that are walking around imbalanced. So what an appointment would look like. So I would go through a regular screening process, do some orthopedic testing, and then afterwards, I would test the muscle, see if it's not firing properly, try to find out which muscle it's compensating for. So, like an example, I have somebody comes in with a weak psoas. I find out the QL on the same side is, from touching it, from getting proprioception, that it's the facilitator in the relationship. So from there, I would release the QL, activate the psoas. Psoas turns strong then we know that we made the proper corrections, and then it's up to the client to do the corrective homework from there.
That's a huge part of, the treatment. I know on the going through physio and just talking to friends of mine who are OTs as well, and that kind of stuff. It seems like there's such a disconnect between, when you see your clients and they're, they're working really hard, they'll do all their exercises in front of you, but then, you see them a week, it's like, hey, did you do your exercise? It's like, well, I did them a bit, right? That like, do you have any kind of secrets or any sort of ways that you can kind of increase compliance with your clients?
I don't think there's anything where you can get 100% compliance with everybody to see, but I think just pushing the importance of homework. Because I mean, if someone's coming to see me, let's say a frequency of twice a week, or let's say once a week, and then I give them homework, and then I don't see them till the following week. If there's no corrections going on, they're going to most likely revert back to their same complaints. Now, there is some conditions where it's just soft tissue, and especially if it's an acute problem, it might not need the same amount of corrections, but I think it's just hammering home, the importance of that to the clients. I also send them homework. I send to them on their phone, so I mean, it's there. It's usually relatively quick. You can knock it off in 2 to 5 minutes, and it's done for that day. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it's pretty convenient that you can kind of keep contact with everyone on their phone. You sent me a pretty extensive list of your background. Like you said, you come from a wide variety of backgrounds. You wear a lot of different hats, and I think that probably kind of would really set you above the rest in, you know, where you have so much experience in so many fields. You mind giving kind of a brief, like, how you got to where you are today through your influences from athletics, academics, different professions you've been a part of, anything like that?
Well, I've always been involved in sports ever since I can remember. My first memory, I think, I was skating. So that naturally progressed over the years, and then I fell in love with wrestling, and doing that throughout university. Had a lot of successes with that. While I was in school, actually, my background was in music, of all things. And after graduating, that just kind of got pushed to the wayside, and I took up a job at the NSLC for 11 years, and I just realized that this just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I needed an escape plan, and eventually I started working as a personal trainer with Good Life. And again, that was very close to what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted something that was going to challenge me in a different kind of way. And so here I am working in the therapy world. This is my first year as a manual osteopath, and it's going great. Every day is different, constantly learning. Spend multiple lifetimes and you would never master it. That's the great thing. Yeah, it's very rewarding at the end of the day. You know, especially when you've had somebody that's been in so much pain their whole life, 20, 30 years, and then they said, you know, after a couple appointments, you're able to resolve their issues.
That's got to be some of the more rewarding sides of the profession, I would think.
Oh yeah, it was, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was already having some success as a personal trainer in that facet, but it wasn't in personal training. It's very difficult to just focus exclusively on the rehab side of things, and so yeah, that's more the direction I was going in.
I think it's really important for people to kind of hear that pathway you took, because I know I've been at, you know, crossroads in times of my life, kind of unsure if, you know, things I'm doing are, you know, do I want to continue this? Do I want to change to something else? And actually for me, fairly recently, actually, you know, as far as the personal training route, as I'm finishing up my master's, I'm working on my certified strength conditioning specialist as well. So kind of a similar pathway to you, but I think it's really important people hear that to say, you know, especially if they're doing a job, like you said, you were working at the NSLC for 11 years and you said, I want to do something else, right? You put in the work, you felt what's out there in the personal training world, and then built from there. And I think that's really awesome. I think people need to hear that's an option. You know, if you have a passion for something and you want to follow it, then follow it.
Yeah, definitely a much more rewarding job. And, you know, like I said, every day is different, and I'd highly recommend it, especially if, you know, you feel like you're stuck in a job that you're not happy with.
That's awesome. I guess just last little bit, wrapping things up, a little topical question, but how has the global pandemic affected your work and how you interact with your clients? What sort of considerations and modifications have you had to continue working and providing a service to your client?
Well, I graduated in February last year, and so within a month I was working at a clinic and saw 2 clients, and then we were in lockdown for about 3 months. So, and I did a lot of self-development. It's, like I said, it's one of those jobs, you can't learn too much. So came back around, I think it was spring or summer. And ever since there and approaching into the second wave, things have been pretty good. I've been fairly busy. And both clinics that I've been working at, they've been very diligent as far as making sure staff and the clients are safe, just through screening, of course, appropriate mask wearing, and properly cleaning the surfaces.
Awesome. I mean, it's nice. You know, it's always nice to go into somewhere, regardless of where it is right now, and kind of know that they're taking those extra precautions. I guess as we're wrapping up here, is there anything you want to highlight? Any projects or anything you're working on, or obviously the clinics you're working at, or any social media or anything like that?
No, nothing off the top of my head.
Again, what's the name of the clinics that you work at?
I work at Neurokinetic, which is in Bedford, and I work at Strides Spa in Elmsdale.
Well, there you go, folks. That's where you'll find Brett next time you need to go see the osteopath. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I really appreciate it. I think there's some great little nuggets of wisdom in here that you've very kindly passed on, and hopefully people will get something out of this.
All right. Thanks a lot.